the Matthew coming to you on the Maple Mafia channel, guys. Welcome to the Maple Mafia channel. This is our other channel. You may know us from the MrMaple show on YouTube. We've been growing our Maple Mafia channel here quite a bit, so make sure to subscribe. Every Sunday we talk about our Maple Mafia eBay as well. We've also been doing some lives, a lot of other cool behind-the-scenes content for you guys here. Got some new equipment to go live even easier. I think you guys are going to love some of the walkthrough lives we're doing here on this channel. Now, guys, let's get a little bit into our eBay. This is the eBay for 5/4, so may the 4th be with you, all my fellow Star Wars geeks out there. Love it. We got some just absolute heat for you today on the Maple Mafia channel. Jumping right into it, guys, I got a Longapiece gold coin. I mentioned it before, but often referred to as Acer Amplum as well. We always try to keep those original species names on there to eliminate cultivar confusion for people. Gold coin from Esfeld Plantinium, guys. This one can get metallic-y yellow. Just an absolute showstopper and a very fast grower. Typically well over a foot of growth a year. I do recommend some late-day shade in some of the hotter zones. I have this one in full sun in zone 6B here, and I get almost like a washed-out translucent yellow that just glows. So if you can push the sun on it, do if you're in an area that you can. Big leaf, absolute showstopper of a plant. Gold coin coming at you in a 1 gallon today on our eBay channel. Now, our eBay items end a little after this video. These videos air on Sunday at 5. Be looking for these items to end tonight on eBay, so they'll go through the evening, several of them up till about 9 o'clock. So just kind of check your eBay. You'll see us on there under the Maple Mafia on eBay, but we always put a link to the eBay store into the video here too. So next up, we've got Albajo. Now, this is a great Makawa family form that gets overlooked a lot. Older selection, dense, full, compact. Look, it's to be a little bit more of a rounded ball than Makawa. It's a chartreuse green, smaller leaf than Makawa. Typically a little bit more yellow to orange in the fall as well. Makes a lovely pairing with if you have a Makawa garden already. Guys, up next we have a seedling from Makawa Yetsubusa. Now, you know these, they have a lot of variability to them. They're super fun. You're going to see more of these coming. Absolutely love Makawa seeds. Now, we only select the Makawa seedlings that have dense Makawa-like forms. So if it's not Makawa'd out, it's not going to go into those Makawa seedlings. Sometimes every now and then you'll get a seedling from Makawa that makes an upright tree. These are all going to structurally be similar to Makawa Yetsubusa. Now, it is from seed, so there's variability in color, shape, and form, but it's kind of a fun grab bag too. Really cool plant, seedling from Makawa. Very heat tolerant and durable typically as well. All right, now coming in here next, we've got a fan favorite coming back. This is Allen's Gold, Acer Palmatum Allen's Gold. This one I've told the story on several times. I actually had this early on. My friend Pat McCracken had sent it to me, and Pat was like, I don't think it's a, well, he didn't say he didn't think. He said, check out the spring color on this one. It's one of the best spring colors I've ever seen. And I put it in a 10-gallon over time, had it in a stock house. It was behind Mom and Dad's. So when I was still living in the basement in their house, just trying to get MrMaple going. And I called him and I said, dude, I think this thing is a pine bark. And he's like, no, I don't think it's a pine bark. And I said, go look at it. And he was like, the original one has pine bark all the way to the base now. As I got it into a 10-gallon, it started to develop this great Nishikigawa-like bark to it. So really a game changer here. Selected for spring color because it's a showstopper for that yellow-orange spring color. You get a really intense orange with kind of a yellow eye to it. But, guys, it is a pine bark tree. So this one's going to really change the game for bonsai. You're getting a variant of spring color and also that pine barking status. A little slower to bark up than, say, like Nishikigawa or Arakawa, but it gets there. And absolutely phenomenal. Typically over a foot of growth a year, but a very heat-tolerant tree for us as well. So next up, we've got Little Joe. This is a selection by Dr. Kronetsky. It's a witch's broom off of a green palmatum found by him. He lives there in the Chapel Hill area. Beautiful gardens. I actually went and toured around on some carts one time with Mark Wethington of the J.C. Ralston. He took me over to Dr. Kronetsky's house. On that same trip, we found the seeds that became Hot Blonde. Dr. Kronetsky found this one, named it for his brother, Little Joe. And this is a witch's broom that gets a lot of nice pink going on. It's a green, but it kind of blushes some secondary growth that has really nice pink. So very dense, very full, typically more of a 4x4 ball. Now, next up, we've got Elmwood Orange coming back. You guys loved it last time, so we decided to return it. This is a kind of a Katsura Ueno Yama style spring interest. Elmwood Orange, fast grower, put over a foot of growth a year. Really some incredible shades of orange. Ingolstadt also, gosh, you guys wanted this one to come back. It's a Seboldianum. Ingolstadt from Dick Vandermaat. We're going to celebrate his whole collection. We'll go Michael Bolton and Office Space where he says, I celebrate his entire collection. I celebrate Dick Vandermaat's entire collection. That man came up with some amazing plants. Now, Ingolstadt is a Seboldianum, so more cold tolerant. Heavily Matza Murray leaf. A little bit different colors going on there as well. Next up, we've got the Mr. Miyagi, so you can wax on and wax off in the garden there. You can get your garden chores on to practice all of your karate skills. Obviously, with a name like Mr. Miyagi, it's bonsai inspired. Anything with Mr. Miyagi, that's most people's introduction to bonsai. They're like, hey, I watched that Karate Kid movie. You got any bonsai trees? And I'll just tell them, hey, check out Makawi Etsubusa. Well, now we've got Mr. Miyagi, which is a variant. It's a seedling from Makawi Etsubusa. And the reason this was selected by Joel Johnson is because this one gets wide and low. So it puts on a lot of weird branching, kind of perfect for bonsai. It gets a little bit more stretched out than Makawa, and very durable, very sun tolerant, great looking plant. Coming here next, we've got Ojishi, guys, in a Welsh pot. So this is the male form of the Shishigashira, flattened out leaf, just great plant. Next up, we've got Japanese Princess in a 1 gallon. Always highly sought after. If you're giving this one more sun, more of a hot pink. If you're giving it a little bit more shady conditions, typically a little bit more yellowish pink blushing. Typically around 3 feet tall in 10 years. Very compact, great looking plant. Guys, next up, I've got Gossamer in a 3 gallon. Nothing awesomer than a Gossamer. You hear me say that every time, but I love this thing. Great fall colors, yellows, reds, and oranges. Contorted leaves to it, very dense, very full. 3 gallon size of this are highly sought after. They're very popular to get a 3 gallon list. It is a slow grower. I had a picture one time with Tim and Billy Schwartz, and he's holding the original Gossamer, and the whole, like, this is funny because we'd offered Gossamers in 3 gallons, and Billy's holding the original one, and it's probably like 8 inches. That's because trees grow faster from graft. So we'd actually, the grafts from this, were massive compared to the original. But here's a chance to pick up a 3 gallon, awesome plant. Next up, we've got Tattoo. Just a phenomenal compact dwarf form. Tattoo, also from Billy Schwartz at Red Maple Nurseries. Dense, ruffled leaf. One of my favorite Makawa forms. One of the most highly sought after Makawa forms. Easy to grow, durable. These are going to work zones 5 through 9. Full sun, typically up to zone 8. So this one, if you're looking for a Makawa but you want to stay even smaller, Tattoo might be your guy. All right, guys, coming here next, we've got Ryuzu, highly sought-after plant. Ryuzu is it's upright, reminds me a little bit more of a Kurohime in its shape. You kind of get this unique structure to it. It's got a twisting foliage to it, very twisting new growth. Kind of get this interesting bouquet kind of effect going on. It's a green tree, but it kind of blushes pink as well. You can kind of throw Teroyama in there a little bit, although this one tends to be a little bit more columnar than that. Just a great plant. Absolutely love its color. Bold oranges in the fall. Structurally, just a great plant. Fits well in with Ryusuns and Shishigashiras. Doesn't really fit into either of those families, but it kind of fits with both those sets really well. Next up, we've got a bonsai baby. Now, what bonsai babies are, this is a small leaf seedling that comes back pretty true to form. So we collect seeds off this one, and they come back very small leaf. What you can guarantee with this one is it's not grafted, so it's great for bonsai. And it has tiny, tiny foliage. Now, again, there's variability from seed, but what most of these seedlings are doing is kind of maxed down around 4 to 5 feet tall, making more of a small, dense form. They've been great for bonsai artists because they're dense, they're full, they're durable, they're small leaf greens, a little variability in fall color, typically oranges and reds, but structurally compact, dense, kind of ideal, ungrafted, so you can easily put these into a bonsai setting, and they're just tough too, so they're good plants for that. Coming here next, we've got one of the most popular Makawa forms of all. We've got Mystic Makawa, guys. Mystic is awesome. It's the orange Makawa. Give this one some early morning sun, late day shade for its best color. I do find that Mystic is colored up better in the ground, so get this one in the ground. Love it. This one is an absolute showstopper. Blazing orange. I mean, you can get some crazy orange shades on this one. Just an absolute winner. Typically 4 to 5 foot tall in 10 years. Again, like Makawi Etsubusa, it's structurally dense and full. All right, next up we've got Rainbow by Talon Buchholz. One of the best pink on reds you'll ever see. This one has just some incredible bright pink and red coloration to it. You want to prune this one for color and not shape. So most Japanese maples you prune for shape. This one, you want to be taking out any branches that are all red. So all the dark red color. I tend to leave the all pinks because eventually they'll get a little bit of red in them, but I tend to cut out all the all red. And that'll give you the best long-term variegation on this one. Really a showstopper, though. Pink on red, large leaves, rainbow, highly sought after. Next up, we got Martha Ghost, guys. Save Martha. I always have to make the Batman versus Superman joke. Such a bad movie. I love superhero movies. Such a bad movie. Still not sure why Batman and Superman were fighting. But you know what? Both their mothers were named Martha, so they decided to get along. Like, what? Okay. Anyway, spoiler alert for a 15-year-old movie. Martha Ghost, absolutely amazing. One of the most highly sought after Ghost series plants. So Talon Buchholz has the whole Ghost series. Martha Ghost was that 9th member that had kind of been forgotten. I mean, it was actually early on. It was in the first 3, but it kind of disappeared. We talked someone into selling us one of these back, a wholesale distributor of Buchholz. When Talon and Martha parted ways at the nursery, she was a nursery manager at one point. Her tree kind of disappeared. We kind of got a hold of it and brought it back. Chance to jump to the front of the line here on Martha Ghost. Guys, here's one that's going to be popular today. A lot of people are after this one. Acer palmatum Nemo. Now, our late great friend here, Dr. Murray, we did the 1700s podcast with him on the MrMaple Show, so be sure to go check that out. We do a weekly podcast there. Now, Dr. Murray is just a local legend. I grew up growing Japanese maples, going to tailgate markets, and here was this guy. He was already interesting. He was already the world's most interesting man. Had an amazing beard, just cool dude, and he would come by our garden shows and talk to us. And he was friends with Peter Gregory and J.D. Vertrees. So talk about ears picking up when you meet a guy at a farmer's market in Asheville. Here's this guy who knows so many cool things about maples. So we got to go and pick his brain. And he's just been a good friend of us for many years. In fact, when he went through chemo for his treatments about 15 years ago, we took his entire bonsai collection to our house and kind of cared for it for about a year while he was kind of having treatments. So just a guy that's near and dear to our heart. His favorite Makawa form he ever found was this Nemo. Incredible colors, another blazing orange. If you put it side by side with, like something like Mystic, you'll see how they're different, but they are both orange Makawa variants. Absolutely beautiful. I've got one of these outside the office, and we'll probably do a cultivar highlight of it on the MrMaple Show soon. Incredible colors, bold oranges, really unique, dense tree there. And I'm a little nostalgic about this one. Dr. Murray passed last year, but such a nice guy and such a fun guy to talk to about Japanese maples. So knowledgeable on the 1700s trees as well. Coming here next, we got another Buchholz introduction, guys. It's the May Day. Get it in time for May. This thing is nuts. It leaves out pink, goes to a yellow. Probably everybody's favorite Talon Buchholz introduction. Just great yellow coloration on this one. Typically 4 to 5 foot in 10 years, very dense. And then rounding out our day, grab you one, jump the line. We got the Snow Kitten, y'all. Everybody's after Snow Kitten. You'll see this one sometimes just by a million names. Like it's almost a comical joke at this point. When I first saw this one at NJ Acers, Fred Hooks had bought it from Larry Stanley, and he brought it over there. It was a sport found at Larry Stanley's, and Fred kind of paid him for the naming rights of the tree. Depending on whether you talked to Larry or not, he got paid in full. Sometimes he tells me he didn't, sometimes he tells me he did. Love Larry. By the way, we're going to have the Conifer Society out to Buchholz at some point in 2026. But Snow Kitten, originally called Elmer. Then when I saw it at Ed Shin's, he had the name Makawa Nishiki on it. Tim and I let him know there was already a tree called Makawa Nishiki. And then eventually he changed the name to Snow Kitten. So we go with Snow Kitten because that's what Fred Hooks had on it. And mostly according to Larry, he had the naming rights. So Snow Kitten it is. Great plant, guys. Variegated Makawa. I've had one of these in the ground for 10 years. I'll let people know. It is tricky to grow. You don't want to have this one in a wet spot. A lot of people go, well, leave it in the container. I find trees are easier to grow in the ground. I've had no problem with this one in the ground in zone 6B. We can get -9. I've had one kind of near a structure, so it's a little protected. Gets a little bit more shade, a little bit more, nuanced protection being up next to a structure. So, think about your siding on this one, but I'd have had one in the ground for over 10 years. Still very small, still 2 feet by 2 feet, but just a lovely plant. Lightly pruning this one in the early spring can give you some of your best colors. So grab you a Snow Kitten today on the Maple Mafia eBay. Now, guys, those are the trees going off today. I hope you'll subscribe here on the Maple Mafia channel. I bought some recent DJI equipment. DJI. And Corbin, he's going to Japan. He's already in Japan by the time you're watching this. But some amazing equipment for basically going live. And you can walk around and do these incredible lives. You've got audio. And the gimbal kind of just corrects in real time. Super stabilized, super easy. And guys, I bought 2 of them. So they're $700. Absolutely love them. Tim and I plan on taking those and walking you around on this channel and just giving you some low edit, fun content, kind of behind the scenes kind of stuff. But I think you're going to enjoy that. So definitely subscribe here on the Maple Mafia. There's a lot of fun stuff to come. Guys, we'd appreciate if you support us. Check out our eBay today. It's just the Maple Mafia. We'll put a link in the description. Take care. God bless. Have yourself a great Sunday.